I love bringing a really good baked mac and cheese to family gatherings, cookouts. The holidays, you guys, are coming up, and this is the perfect side dish. People who typically don't like it will come back for seconds. Let's cook the pasta. I've got a large pot, 3/4 of the way filled with water, and we're gonna bring that to a rolling boil. While that's happening, I am gonna butter a 9 by 13-inch casserole, and I am using unsalted butter. I think I'm gonna have to brush it because it's a little too soft. Just make sure you get that bottom, the sides. Generously salt the water. We're doing about a tablespoon. I will be using 1 pound of elbow macaroni pasta. Now, I like to use chickpea. It makes a 1-to-1 ratio swap. This is the brand that I use, but you can use regular pasta. Now, you're gonna cook it according to the package's instructions. Leave it al dente, slightly undercooked. It should still have a bite to it. Give it a quick stir, making sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. Pasta is done. I'm gonna remove 1/2 cup of the water. Now strain it. I'm gonna drizzle the pasta with about a tablespoon of avocado oil, just an oil that's neutral in flavor. Make sure that it gets tossed in it. This is just so that it doesn't stick to each other. Then I'm gonna transfer it onto a half sheet pan so that it cools down faster and it won't overcook. Arrange it in a single layer. I've got all of my cheese grated, ready to go. The best thing you can do with this recipe is prep your ingredients ahead of time. I've got 1 pound of medium cheddar, 1 pound of Gouda cheese, and 1/2 pound of low moisture mozzarella cheese. Grate it yourself. Do not get the pre-grated stuff. I know it sounds easy, but it's got added ingredients that are just gonna throw things off. Mix this in, making sure everything is evenly distributed. Separate the cheese into 2 equal portions. We're talking 1 pound, 4 ounces, because part of it is going to go into the sauce and the other part is going to get layered in the dish. Go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, in a large pot or Dutch oven, melt 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter over medium-low heat. That's the sweet spot for me. It gives me time to work without rushing, but you can bump it up to medium if needed. Once the butter's melted, sprinkle in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and whisk until smooth. Keep whisking for about a minute, allowing the roux to turn lightly golden. Now slowly pour in 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk while whisking constantly. The mixture will start to thicken quickly, so keep it moving until all the milk is fully incorporated and smooth. Then whisk in 2 cups of heavy cream that's not too cold. If needed, let it sit out for about 10 to 15 minutes before using. Cold cream can shock the sauce as well as make it take longer to thicken. Pour it in a slow, steady stream while whisking to keep it smooth and creamy. Season with 1 teaspoon each of smoked paprika, mustard powder, garlic powder, and onion powder, plus a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Whisk well to combine. Let the sauce gently simmer on medium-low heat for 3 to 5 minutes as you continue to whisk until it thickens to the consistency of light gravy. You'll know it's ready when it coats the back of a spoon. If you run your finger through it, it should leave a clean line. That's called nappe. Now, as you've noticed, you must whisk constantly the entire time we are making the sauce. Lower the heat to low, then gradually stir in half of your cheese, adding a little at a time and letting each addition melt before adding the next one. You're looking for a velvety, smooth sauce that still has a little movement. It should drape down, not sit heavy. If the sauce is too thick, stir in 1 to 2 tablespoons of pasta water. Just keep in mind it is salted, or you could even do heavy cream to loosen it up. If you end up not needing the salted pasta water, you can just toss it out. Turn off the heat and add your cooked pasta and stir until every piece is coated in that luscious, cheesy sauce. Give it a taste and add more salt or black pepper if needed. It's important to season it well. Baking dish is out. Let's do half of that mac and cheese. I'm gonna bring this closer. Still nice and warm so that you can layer it beautifully, because you know as it cools it will thicken up a bit more. but this is the perfect consistency. Let's do half of the remaining cheese, the one we said was for layering, and just top it. More like filling. The remainder of the mac and cheese. That's what I'm talking about. Remainder of the cheese. And that's it. We're gonna bake it for 15 to 20 minutes or until it is fully heated through. The top cheese has melted and the edges are lightly bubbling. Finally, to get that nice browning on top, do about 3 minutes of high broil. Just keep an eye on it. You don't want to overdo it. It smells so good, you guys. We're gonna let this rest for 5 minutes. For a pop of color and freshness, sprinkle some chopped parsley on top. It really brightens the dish. This mac and cheese is one to keep on hand. It's creamy, cozy, and seriously crowd pleasing. I love bringing it to family gatherings because it always ends up being one of the most talked about dishes. It's so delicious and nothing complicated about it. Mac and cheese, it feels like the holidays are here.
Man, it smells so good, like the cheese.
Yes.
Gosh.
Nelson's been craving it since it was in the oven already.
This is like a snack.
A snack. This is so good, you guys. Homemade mac and cheese, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Nelson over here.
I was never a fan of mac and cheese. Because I had tried it before with flavor kind of cheese, but it's, yeah, it was not good.
Wow. Are you talking about the box kind?
Probably so. I tasted it a couple of times.
This is a whole other deal. So good, you guys. So I've started to bring it to gatherings and everybody says the same thing. They never liked mac and cheese, but when they tasted this one, it's just because, I mean, come on.
I gotta say though, the chickpea pasta also makes a difference. I'm a big fan of chickpea pasta.
And this is amazing because this recipe works both with chickpea and regular pasta. So I can just switch it up whenever I need to. But I've never had to. I always use chickpea. Nobody can tell the difference, you guys. I'm telling you.
Chickpea pasta is way better. This is a 10-star.
There you go. Go rate our recipes on villacocina.com where you can find the full printable recipe, details, pictures, everything, you name it. All right. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.